Hi everyone, I'm Nicolai Tangen, the CEO of the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, and today I'm really happy to welcome Peter Burling. Peter Burling is, he's a legend in sailing and won 3 America's Cup victories, including one recently. So you've been kind of dominating sailing lately. So welcome, Peter.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, Ben Ainsley, who you beat in the America's Cup, said your team now is the best team sailing has ever seen. What do you think is your super strength?
I think within a sport or a business, you don't have one super strength. In sport now, everyone's very good. Everyone performs at a very high level, but it's making sure you do all the little things really well. You come together as a group well, you work well with your engineers, you know your equipment incredibly well. And just the level's getting so high that everyone's playing at the moment that you're always trying to look for these little wee gains that, you know, if you can find 1 or 2 little gains across an area, you very quickly get quite a significant jump. So, I mean, with every victory, there's so much hard work that goes behind that building up to the competition. Yeah, the last America's Cup was a really enjoyable one to celebrate for sure.
When you say celebrate, what do you mean? I mean, is that like a cup of tea and that's it, or?
It really depends. Normally after a competition you're pretty tired, so normally you're just trying to enjoy the moment with everyone that's got you there. For an America's Cup environment, there's 200 people in the team, there's all the friends and family, there's your own family. Yeah, there's just so many people that have, I suppose, supported you along that journey, and it's really nice to be able to share a moment with everyone. Sailing's quite a unique sport where it's a very much a decision-making sport. You definitely do not get all the decisions correct. It's all about making 1 or 2 more correct ones than someone else, and leveraging yourself and taking a bit of risk when you've got an opportunity to make a potential gain, but you also knowing when to cut your loss. Yeah, you really, I suppose, get that sense of accomplishment and pride of what you've managed to achieve. I think the losses always hurt a lot longer than the wins make you happy for. But yeah, either way, I think it just fuels you forward into the next adventure.
It's become very technical, the sailing now. Tell us about some of the kind of technicalities of it.
The boats are getting incredibly technical. On the composite side, they'd be the most strained kind of composites out there in the world because we're pushing the boundaries very high. America's Cup boats have become very interesting because you have a huge blind spot now, so you're kind of really relying on the people on the other side of the yacht to help you make some of the decisions and to utilise their view at the time to keep you in the correct part on the race course. And I think we did a really good job of that on our boat, is making sure we're always making good decisions around the race course and distributed the load really well around the boat. But I think trying to get the most out of a bit of equipment and being able to evolve and adapt that bit of equipment as you go is something I really enjoy.
Do you train in simulators?
Yeah, the simulation's just become a massive tool, both in the design space, being able to make sure you're picking a good concept. Also getting all your muscle memory around how you're using your user input devices, and then when it comes to the racing side as well, being able to get enough cadence.
And how much time do you spend in that simulator?
It varies massively on how much load we're doing on the water at the same time. But one thing I really like to do is make sure I come into a big event knowing that I've done all the preparation to the highest level I could.
Are you an aggressive sailor?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, my mindset's very much if there's an opportunity to make sure you take an appropriate amount of risk with it, whether it's how you're sailing the boat. But, in saying that, I think, as a sailor, you want to be technically good across the board. You don't want to have any weaknesses, so you can use all the tools in the toolbox. With everything, there's always a real balance. You want people to not be afraid to take risks. You want people to put their hand up when they make mistakes, and you want to really create that environment where people are really enjoying what they do, because if you're enjoying what you do, it's so much easier to put in that extra bit of effort that you need to perform at the highest level.
Moving on to team dynamics. So you have a partner, Blair Duke.
Me and Blair will be quite different people, but in saying that, we've got a lot of similar passions. We both love the outdoors. We're both really competitive, and we both often share the same goal. So you've got to be able to have those healthy conversations in terms of how do you actually shift from where you are now to a better place. And that's something that I think really keeps things fresh and pushes you forward. I think in sport you have a lot less avenue to hide. So if you're not completely honest and transparent, people can tell that straight away. You can pretty much go back in the data and look at whatever camera angle of whatever incident and hear exactly what was said on the comms. So it makes for this really kind of open, transparent conversations because, you know, all the data's there, all the comms, all the audio's there, so you can really get to the bottom of whatever's going on pretty quickly. I think we're really lucky that we have these moments where you get to compete and you get, you know, to put your cards on the table and see how things are performed and then go back and learn from that. When you're trying to make some good decisions about where you should go forward, having a little look back is always an incredibly healthy thing to do. Also, making sure you debrief the wins just as much as the losses. I definitely feel like one of my main roles within the America's Cup is really managing a bit of that risk profile and kind of understanding a lot of the big global decisions and how likely that is to result in us not being able to do a race or not being able to do a training session, or what compromises we're going to have to make to keep a bit of equipment in one piece. I mean, that's the joy of sport. You get to go out and compete against the best people in the world and, you know, see how good you really are, and you've got absolutely nowhere to hide because everything's on the broadcast. There's so many camera angles. There's so much data out there that you've got to really go out there and put your best foot forward and be judged from that. Most people have, so many fond memories of the water when they grow up and just love being in and around the water that, you know, I think that's just led through to a really high level of sailing in our country, and for as long as I can remember, it's just always been that way. Yeah, something as a young guy getting out there and kind of making some decisions with what to do with your boat and getting to race against some other people I found really good fun, and it's been an amazing journey.
So you started Live Ocean with Blair a little while back, and so tell us what is Live Ocean?
Yeah, Live Ocean's a marine conservation charity that Blair and myself founded in New Zealand 5 years ago now. I mean, it's such an amazing thing that we race on that we felt like we were really, you know, had to do our piece to protect it. And, you know, normally you'd wait till the end of your career when you weren't too busy to take that on, but, you know, when we went and started talking to the science community in the area, it felt like the issues were too urgent to wait.
What does the foundation do?
The foundation takes promising science and, you know, helps accelerate that, you know, and continues to promote the outreach. So we started off with a project around albatross. Actually, you know, we chose a species to track that had been being monitored by our Department of Conservation in New Zealand for the last 20 years, and in that last 20 years, the breeding population had decreased by 70%. Yeah, the albatross more tell a biodiversity and how much that they're a sentinel species. So if they're struggling, then the ocean's struggling, and it's scary to see how quickly things can be changing in a negative way unless you really shine a light on the issues. But yeah, I grew up in New Zealand, so grew up in and around the water, and actually my dad had sailed when he was younger and kind of stopped sailing and got my brother into it, so I was getting dragged along to start with, and then decided it'd be more fun to go out and give it a go than sit on the beach. My favourite bit of advice is to make sure people really enjoy what they do. You know, I feel like life isn't massively long, and you've got to really, you know, be passionate about what you're doing and enjoy it.
Well, Peter, life may not be long, but you have achieved more things so far than most people do during 10 lifetimes, and it's very clear that you're enjoying it. So big thanks for being here.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.